What's going on, all you degenerates? It's Toby. I am one half of Draft Degenerates. We unfortunately could not get Razz on with us today, but I figured we may as well go on with it anyway. I see Sasso disapprovingly not shaking his head because he knows Razz hates him. So we decided that it'd be good to bring back coach interviews with the Draft Degenerates because UDL Season 4 started up, and we're hoping to cover a lot of content around that this season. And we figured that the best place to start with that after PRs would be coach interviews, just to get insight into their preseason thoughts and everything that they were thinking of and their hopes for the season. And I thought, who better to bring on than Sasso, the man who relentlessly complained last season that he didn't get an interview, despite my efforts to get him on for an interview. Hopefully this makes up for it.
Yeah.
And all right. I no longer have to be berated because you didn't get back to me on time. But whatever. So Sasso, we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it. I want to ask you a few questions about, firstly, your draft process. So, with your team, what was your original plan looking like? How did it change as you went through? Are you happy with what you came out with?
For the most part, I got about half of the team I wanted. I really wanted to draft Greninja. It's my favorite Pokemon. I never got to use it before in the draft league. So as soon as I saw that it was available, I said, yeah, I'm going to draft it. I don't care what pick I get. If it's there, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
I ended up getting arguably the best pick in the draft, the will pick, 12th pick. So I took Greninja first, and I took Medicham. Now, the reason I took Medicham because I wanted to do some pure power skill swap things
Right.
with it. Fighting types in this gen are pretty well, in the low tier league, are pretty good. And I thought Medicham was really good as a tier 2. So I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and get my tier 2s out of the way. So I took Medicham and Greninja. They both aren't the strongest, but they can definitely put out some type of damage output. Greninja is probably one of the top 4 fastest Pokemon in this tier list. And it can be a mixed attacker. It's not a very strong attacker, but it can be either or, and it can do some good chip and has some good qualities about it. It's got an amazing move pool, both physical and special, so I knew I can build a lot around it. The Medicham, it gave me fake out pressure, skill swap, feint. It gave me a lot of options support wise. And it can still do damage even with just a base 60 attack with the pure power ability.
Yeah.
I always wanted to draft Weather in the draft league, but it never felt comfortable to me. But Houndstone is just a busted Pokemon. Like, I was like, I can get this as a tier 1. I did take it later. I think I took it at, 4th. I believe it was 4th. But Hippowdon was still there, Hippopotas was still there, so I was like, I can get Houndstone and then get Hippopotas as a real cheap tier 4. So I decided to take that as my Sand Core. I was gonna do water, but it felt pricey compared to what I had, and I already had Greninja as a water type, so I decided to go for a different weather typing. So Houndstone, it can be physical, can be supportive. I don't have to bring it in the sand. I can make it fluffy, and it tanks a lot of hits.
Sure.
I have a ton of coverage for fire types if I have to end up going against those with fluffy, so I didn't too much worry about that. My water, fire, grass core, it's more of a support role with Serena, Fletchinder, Greninja. Again, Greninja can do damage. Fletchinder picked up a big kill for me.
Right.
Earlier this week against Wake, against Charizard. It did amazing. So it was a good pick for me. I get priority tailwind. Serena stocks priority attack, so it's pretty much guaranteed tailwind every time I have those two out. Serena did disappoint me. She gave me a little roller coaster, man. She missed back-to-back high jump kicks, and it was like,
my God. Yeah,
It hurt.
if you haven't seen Saso's Week 1 match versus Wakeman, I would suggest going to watch it. I'll try to link it in the description because that was an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it was a really good match. It was up and down, but I much respect to Wake and the team that he put together. He did start out with a 4-0 sweep in the game 1, but yeah, it was a good match.
Yeah.
Back
So,
to,
yeah, your team. Go ahead.
Yeah, all right, back to my team. Sudowoodo, I drafted it mainly because I believe it's Razz or maybe Rolo. I get them mixed up all the time. I'm sorry. But Sudowoodo, I'm trying my best to find a way to make it do really well to prove one or the other wrong. I do have some little gimmicks that I want to try with it. One of them being like skill swap pure power to make it like hit really hard in trick room.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell the other one because I plan on bringing it sometime this season.
Sure.
Scizor, I think, was one of the best tier 1s I could have drafted. The typing is still bugged. Only has one typing, even though it's ×4 to fire. I felt like it was still okay for me to draft it with Terra being a thing. And it has a really good attack base, pretty good defense. It can do a lot for me it even gets tailwind. So I learned that a couple of days ago when I watched another match, that it gets tailwind. So it has some good utility. Technician is an amazing ability.
Mm-hmm.
Giraffe Ridge is like it has inner focus, so it can't be fake out. So it's like easier to set up trick room. If I fake out one of their other mons and put like a mental herb per se, I can pretty much guarantee trick room if I need to set that. The only pick that I had an issue with really was Vesper Queen. I was gonna ask. I wanted to take Muck. Muck got taken. And
okay.
I was like, it'll just be a filler. I'll probably never bring it, but I might.
All right, yeah, fair enough. That was one of the questions I was going to ask. Was what was the thought process about Vespa Queen? Because as many know, it is by definition a Pokemon and not much else.
Yeah, it's not much else. It does have some weird things to it. Like I can make it a defensive wall, recover toxic stall things, but it's not my play style. But I might bring it sometime.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. If I see a Vespiquen carry a matchup for you this season, I will stand corrected, I guess. But for your other Tier 4, Sudowoodo, now, it's no question a certain Raspberry does not like Sudowoodo. I am the exact opposite. I fucking love Sudowoodo. I want to know what... You don't have to spoil all your super secret text or anything like that, but what's your plans with Sudowoodo? Are you thinking it's going to come more than like a week?
I think I'm not bringing it this week.
Sure.
So lucky you, Rolo. I do plan on bringing it in one of my matches in the first 4 or 5 weeks, at least once. I was looking over briefly about those matchups, and I see that it does really well into a certain team. What really got me high strong on Sudowoodo is a couple seasons ago in BBA, I played against Gumi, and he brought it against me, and I disregarded it because I'm like, Sudowoodo, it's whatever. And then he proceeded to beat me 8-1, and I was like, and it was mainly because Sudowoodo it's really good. It's a slept-on Pokemon, I can say that.
I mean, I agree, and I think especially for like Tier 4, the thing has like what 100 base attack, 100 and something defense. Like, I think
best it can do a lot.
pretty respectable for Tier 4, especially. Exactly. So if Razz is watching this in post, what the hell? I don't get it. Okay, then. So you've already fought Wake for this season, and again, if you haven't watched that, I'll try to link it in the description. It's a good match. But other than Wake, are there any other coaches in this season that you're particularly excited to be fighting? Are there any particular coaches you're dreading to fight for matchup reasons or anything like that?
There's two mainly that I'm interested in battling. One being Rolo, the other being Hunter.
Okay.
Um, I think my matchup with Hunter is like 50-50, just looking at it on paper.
Yeah.
I know he's gonna give me a hard time. He's a really good player, and he has beaten me already before, so it's my get back time. Rolo, on the other hand, I play this upcoming week, and I'm all over the place with that matchup. Like, I built maybe 5 or 6 teams, and it's like I don't feel comfortable with any of them, so I'm just going back and forth with calcs and all that stuff. It's a headache. Klefki, too good. I'm glad we moved it to tier 1 because, man, tier 2.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, man.
The great Klefki debate, I tell you.
Yeah, right.
We went back and forth for a while, but I guess ultimately it's probably best in tier 1. So I'm not gonna mauled about it getting moved.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see here. So another thing I want to talk about is now it's no question that Razz and I are objectively correct, and there's no question that our power rankings are set in stone and that nothing was wrong with them at all. But of course, everybody has their own opinions, wrong as they may be. So you ranked, according to your objectively correct overlords, number 7 on the power rankings, and I want to know how you feel about that. I want to know if you think that's right, if you think you should have been moved, what place you think you should have been in.
I think it's arguable. I'm not upset with 7. I think I could have been anywhere between 5 and 7. The team isn't the strongest. It has a big weakness or two. I have a lot of physical minds, only 2 special attackers, and one of those special attackers isn't the best special attacker. But I have a lot of support to go along with them. Their chip will be more than enough to like pick up kills, and so I'm not mad at 7. I'm not happy about 7, but I understand the placement. I think I could have been anywhere between 5 and 7.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that was really our only thing when we were ranking you, was just there's a huge physical bias, and honestly, Greninja can do either way, and sometimes you're not always going to want it to be special.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you might go into a matchup and you might find you're easily burned or intimidated, etc., etc. So that's the main thing. But I do agree. I think there was plenty of argument to like move teams around a few places. I think in the probably the 4 through 7 range in your division, it was pretty. They were all pretty comparable teams, so they could have been moved around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't feel bad about 7 either.
Yeah. It's gonna start my villain arc though, because I have to beat everyone that I play in top 6.
you have made it your goal to beat the top 6. I've heard. Yeah. Which, do you think that's possible with the Rolo matchup at the moment?
It's up in the air, but I think I can get it. He doesn't have many tendencies, so it's kind of hard to like prep for what he likes to do. I watched his match last week and a couple matches from other leagues, and he doesn't have many similar matches. They are always different and always interesting to watch.
Rolo always switches it up. He is an agent of chaos. You never know what he's actually gonna want to do, because he never has like a set play style. So it's tough, but
I think I have a good shot. I'll have a good shot. I think the matchup is like 60-40 his way.
Sure.
But I think the techs that I'm planning on bringing, I think if they work, I think I'll be alright.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I think you have a shot too, for the record. I foresee this is an 8-week season. I foresee 8-0 Sasori, personally. I think it would happen.
I gotta make it happen just for you now.
I'm manifesting it. I'm speaking it into existence just for you.
I gotta do it now.
You absolutely have to, for me. Especially because I'm your boss. But so then moving on from power rankings and kind of with the win streak that you're looking for, do you think now playoff structure this season for UDL is a bit different than just the normal like top 6? Yeah. It's we're divided into 2 sub-divs, top 2 from each sub-div, and then some wild cards making for like a top 12 spot. So it's arguably a little more forgivable to make playoffs.
Yeah.
So what are your hopes for playoffs? Do you think you can make it? Do you think you can? How far do you think you can make it in playoffs? Do you think you can win the whole thing, Sasori? Brag for us.
I'm gonna try my best to stay as humble as possible.
Okay.
There's, I think, 3 teams that I think I have a hard time against. One of the teams was Wake's team, mainly because prankster stuff is just way too good. Like, I want to bring weather, but prankster mons just cancel out weather. It's like,
right.
It's a annoyance. Rolo is another team, and Flamingo. Okay. Flamingo doesn't have like the prankster stuff. I don't believe. I gotta look back at his team, but he's a really good player. He's another Rolo. You never know what you're gonna get.
You never know what you're gonna get with him. And I will say, he does have prankster. I believe he has Grafai.
He gets Sunny Day Grafai. So it's gonna be another one of those. I think the prankster matchups are gonna be the toughest for me. Not so much as what they can do to my Pokemon with their prankster abilities, but what they can do to benefit theirs. I think Jap and Serena really helped out with it. They can't do as much to affect my team with their out. So if I can Terra and protect her well enough while they have their prankster users out, I think I'll do pretty good.
Yeah, that's fair. And as long as Serena doesn't miss all of its attacks, then you're cooking.
High jump kick minus 50%. It's like
holy crap. Which actually, while I have you here, I want to ask your opinion on another controversial thing. Flamingo's team, specifically. There has been back and forth on, like, how good it actually is, because he drafted, like, the slacking Protect the King type of comp, and that's something I wanted to ask you about, because I'm looking at these interview questions that we recycled, and we are no longer in an auction format, so that's not a thing that we're talking about. So, like, what do you think of, I guess, slacking in Tier 1, and, like, looking at Flamingo's team, like, how viable do you think that is?
Alright, so I definitely think slacking is Tier 1. I can see the argument for Tier 2, because you need other things to make it work. Mm-hmm. But there's so many things that make it work.
Exactly.
There's so many skill swaps and doodle, and it's just a lot that can Worry Seed. There's a lot of things to make it. I don't think Worry Seed works.
Right.
But there's a lot of things that can still make it work. So I think it definitely should be in Tier 1. It's pretty much a legendary once you get remove the ability. And it just hits like a tank. It gets stab on facade, so even if you burn it, it's like still a threat. It's bulky as hell, so you just slap on the assault vest and it just sits there, do whatever it wants. It gets drain punch, so it can keep itself alive. It's just a really good Pokemon, so I can definitely see it in Tier 1. You can even make it special in some cases with a 95 base special attack, so it's like most of the time you want it physical, but you can make it special and still do things with it. So Flamingo himself, I'm pretty sure he'll be able to make this team work. Like, Metacham skill swapping to slacking is going to be so annoying. Like, and
then he's got Grafai. He's got Grafai with Doodle.
So it's like he has multiple ways to set it up. His slow mode doesn't look the bulkiest, but he still has some pretty good things. Bronzor isn't really a nuisance, but it could be. Like, I don't know if it gets body press, iron defense, but Eviolite makes it really bulky. So it can set up Trick Room. He has Mimikyu, he has Zoroark, so you don't really know if he's starting what he's starting. He has a really annoying team, and I saw Sunflora put in some work last week as well. So yeah, I think he can make this team work. He's a really good coach as well. I actually have him winning the division on my own personal, on my own personal little chart, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you. I think he drafted the perfect slacking team. So
Yeah,
I think he can certainly make it work. Plus, Flamingo's a correct player, so
exactly.
he will go far. Although a certain somebody who's not here might disagree and might also reinforce the fact that he disagrees by the fact that he won against Flamingo in week 1, but he's not here to defend himself, so by default
He
he's
loses.
wrong. Exactly. Which actually brings up an interesting question. You said you're betting on Flamingo winning his sub div. What are your bets on sub divs? Who do you think's winning? I gotta know now.
All right. So Flamingo's in yellow, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I believe he's winning that one. I think I had Ollie winning green. Was it Ollie?
Yes. Ollie's in
Yeah,
green.
I believe it was.
Respectable.
It was. I believe I had Ollie winning green. Myself, of course, winning red, and I had Hunter winning blue. He had a rough week 1. I think he just made a couple of different plays that I didn't agree with, but I think he'll get it together, and I think he'll end up winning out that division.
For sure. Okay. So, mark your words. You're winning red. Flamingo's winning yellow. Ollie's winning green, and Hunter's winning blue. Okay. Got it. I feel a little unloved, but whatever.
I think you're
It's
definitely
fine.
gonna make it.
I mean,
I definitely think you
Yeah.
still make it to the playoffs.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think you can make it.
Fair enough.
I still need to get my get back with you, so you have no choice but to make
All right. You know what? Fair enough.
it.
Because you said so, I will. And I mean, I agree with you. I think Ollie is probably at least gonna top cut in green because, I mean, his team on paper looks kind of mid to me, but Ollie himself just makes mid teams do astronomical
Right.
amounts of work for him.
And
I
I don't
mean,
get it.
I don't know how he does it. It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
He won VBA and Sandbox off of that. That's wild to me.
It's crazy.
I mean, I respect the hell out of it. I still just
It blows
I'm
my
baffled.
mind.
I'm baffled. He mixed Toxic week 1.
Yeah.
It was like a 4-0 or something like that in
I
game
was,
2.
I was not expecting it, but man,
No.
he did some good switches, some good terrors. He has some good protection. He played that game really well.
Yeah.
And Muck.
Fair enough.
He has Muck.
And Muck, which is notoriously his kind of Pokemon.
Right.
So, all right. Then, last thing I think all the adoring fans, i.e., me, want to know is what are your plans for the rest of the season? What are you wanting to accomplish here, other than obviously making playoffs? Of course, are there plays you want to make? Is there somebody you want to 4-0, something like that?
I don't get to play Razz unless we make in the playoffs, but I definitely want to beat him with Sudowoodo. I'm bringing Sudowoodo Razz. If we end up playing, it's gonna be there. What I'm doing with it, I don't know yet, but it will be there, and it will perform well. I definitely want to beat top 6 in Houndstone. And I definitely want to win it all. So,
all right,
those are my goals.
I have faith, and I also have faith that you can beat Razz with Sudowoodo. And in fact, because I actually fight him in cross divs at the end of the season, so I'm also going to bring Sudowoodo into him, just because. Just because. All right, then. I think that's about everything I have to ask, unless there's anything specific that you wanted to add.
Nothing specific. I just want to wish everybody the best of luck during this season. If you're top 6, be on the lookout because I'm prepping extra hard for you. But again, good luck, everybody. I'm glad everybody's here joining us in this season.
Hell yeah. And we're glad to have you here for the season, Saso. Not only here for the season, here for the interview, here being on the mod team for UDL. I forgot to shout that out. You're on the mod team for UDL.
Yeah, thank you for the invite.
And being the people's champion, as always. And then, well, I guess before we get out of here, shout your stuff out. Where can people find you? Where can people support you?
You can find me on Twitch. My Twitch name is Selfmade Joker. It's all the E's are 3s and it's underscore after each word. So it's self_made_Joker. all threes. I play Apex a lot, so if you ever want to come out, check out a stream with me playing Apex, feel free. I'm always happy to have you. Um, I post videos on YouTube, but not often, but you can see me on there. Um, I don't really do the whole social media thing, but you can find me on IG as your boy Joker.
All right.
YOBOI Joker. And yeah,
All
can't
right,
wait to
cool.
see you all.
I will link his channels down in the the description, so you can all see his content for yourself. You have to watch some of his games. Seriously, they're all emotional roller coasters. And he's not half bad at Apex either. So, all right, then. Thank you everybody for watching. If you've watched this far, you are a draft degenerate. And if you are not subscribed already, I will say it for Razz. What the hell are you doing? Why are you watching this video, not subscribed to this channel? Why have you not commented down below, left a like, said, oh my god, I love Draft Degenerate so much. Razz is kind of a bitch for not being here, but
100%.
I still love him. I still love him. You should still give love to him in the comments. And you should also
love, but I hate you.
Yeah, exactly. And then you should also, down in the comments, be like, man, Saso is such a smart, strapping, handsome, hopeful man who is going to take it all this season, and he is destined for greatness for UDL Season 4.
Yeah, it's about time I get back to a championship.
I would say so. Alrighty.
All right,
then,
well, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on, Saso. And again, thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.